Alquity Investment Management invited us to come to Ghana in West Africa to see their unique investment model in action.
Here's what we learned and what we saw.
Takoradi is Ghana's second largest port. Now that Ghana has started producing oil in commercial quantities, $150 million is about to be spent developing the infrastructure here.
One of the stocks the Alquity Africa Fund is invested in is Tullow Oil. Having led the exploration of the Jubilee oil field off the coast, Tullow Oil is producing over 100,000 barrels of crude a day. Their strategy is to build a sustainable business with over 90% of the employees coming from Ghana.
That's the Tullow ethos, a global company with global ideas, but with a really local mindset, working closely with governments and civil society and the people that are affected by the businesses that we're undertaking, and making sure they also see some of the wealth that is an intrinsic part of building infrastructure and local capacity in any country.
Tullow is now a leading producer of oil in Africa, and its stock price has risen dramatically in response.
A good example of the type of company that the Alquity Africa Fund invests in to deliver attractive returns for investors.
This is Takoradi Polytechnic, whose industry-focused academic courses make it the highest-ranked polytechnic in Ghana.
As part of Tullow Oil's commitment to the local community, the firm has jointly financed the building of this new Jubilee Technical Training College within the Polytechnic.
This $6 million facility provides state-of-the-art modern training facilities for budding engineers and technicians.
The impact is we'll be able to train a lot of people in the catchment area so that they will acquire skills and knowledge for them to enter into the oil industry, and this will improve their living standard.
Alquity's Africa Fund uses environmental, social and governance screening to select companies like Tullow Oil, which operate responsibly.
This is the second aspect of Alquity's business model: sustainable investment.
500 kilometers inland of Takoradi is Bolgatanga, where I visited a microfinance initiative funded by Alquity and met one of the women being lent money by the project, Annabila Adongo.
Annabila borrowed $25 to help her buy cassava flour in bulk for her market stall. This has enabled her to grow her income and support her family, 3 of whom are partially sighted.
Man dana sentare kutu nkontele la sane na nana man ta yome fe bingi ya ne ko tal na lora ni do to kose ni doke tawa yo.
25% of Alquity's revenue is donated to help people like Annabila without affecting the return to Alquity's investors at all.
This is what Alquity describes as transforming lives, which, along with sustainable investment and attractive returns, form the 3 pillars of the Alquity business model.
Investing in firms with sustainable business practices helps deliver attractive long-term returns.
Helping people up the economic ladder drives demand for the products and services of those companies, which in turn helps generate increased returns for investors in the Alquity Africa Fund.
This is the Alquity virtuous circle.
Coming away from this trip, what I see is that Alquity takes their commitments, their 3 pillars, very seriously. They apply due diligence and they really believe it. What do I think of Tullow Oil? Tullow Oil is a very well-run, very professional company that is trying to do business in the right way.
It was really encouraging to see that even the lowest level of staff were encouraged to, from the bottom up, to promote their ideas for improvement within the company, and that is something that it's really best practice. The microfinance project for me was one of the highlights of the trip. Not only is money being made available to people that need it for their families, but in addition it's being done in a sustainable fashion.
It's going to work and it's changing people's lives, and we saw it firsthand.
I've come to see that the business model is much deeper than I'd at first glance thought. I've begun to understand so much more about why the model is there and why it's so different from any other African fund. It's a very sustainable business model, and I think the fund will perform extremely well as a consequence of that.